The bye rounds are over in Supercoach, and thank for that. Because, Chief, welcome back to the Phantoms Lair, everybody out there. Code Sports YouTube channel. If you are not watching, this is going to be a good episode to get on there and check it out now. But, Chief, 16 rounds down in Supercoach. The buys are done. The Phantom, I'm just about done after the weekend.
You are.
Got my soft serve here. Doing a bit of binge eating. We got end of financial year party in the office.
Yep. You had a couple
I'm not happy. I'm sad.
Couple of sausages, couple of free sausages there, but unfortunately, yeah, a couple of donuts could have been all right for you as well. No donuts to be recorded, but with your score this weekend, I would have thought there was.
I got the popcorn out because I'm about to sit back, not talk, listen to the Dossie show because the smugness has gone to another level this week.
Yep.
No five names here to back me up. Well, actually,
here he is.
He's here in memory. He's not dead for anyone out there. So there's our man. Five names, Simeon Kingsley, Thomas Wilson. That might actually be the wrong photo, I think, Chief.
Yep.
Oh, wait. Is that it? That's probably not it either.
Don't know about that, yeah.
There we go. There's our man.
There's our man. If you aren't watching on the Code Sports YouTube channel, you definitely should be, but we've got a couple of lovely photos of our man, Five Names, here as he embarks on his trip to Europe, as we said he was going to. So we won't call him this show. We'll let him have a rest this week. But once he's in Europe,
time difference yes, should be good. But let's talk.
Let's do it.
Supercoach. And let's start with you because I want to talk about myself.
Yeah. So I think I did predict it, actually. I might bust out this sting.
You can call me Mystic Mac because I predict these things.
Just call me Mystic Mac.
I've got a prediction as well coming up for next week.
Okay. Well, Mystic Mac Dossie over here said I was going to be top of the pod 3 weeks running. What happened, Vance? Just that. Top of the pod again for Dossie over here, the Chief. Bringing the goods. 1998 for me in round 16. And that included a lot of stinky premium scores, which I'm sure we'll get to in our villains. Lots of stinky premiums, but I had some pretty solid guys as well to bring me home. Pretty happy with that. And yeah, like I said, triple top of the pods. We'll talk about how we went over the buys in a little bit.
Will we?
We will.
This is the setup.
But pretty happy with my position following the buys.
No,
Vance, how'd you go, Bob?
Not good.
King of Bob. Bottom of the pod. Vance, yet again.
Well, hasn't been a good couple of days. Didn't enjoy the footy on the weekend. And also, just it might not be our friend anymore because our Peyton, BWAP, just popped up on the work chat before we came in and referred to me as King of Bob. Out of nowhere.
Well, that is your name now. So I'll just quickly, middle of the pod, Sim.
Yep.
Here, 5 names.
What did he get?
Not here, Simeon Thomas Wilson. Heading off to Europe.
What did he
1901.
get?
So not too bad from old 5 names. Came home strong in our matchup. I had him in the head-to-head in our work league. Just popped the 97 on his head, but still 1901. Not too bad from old 5 names. So
I'm not telling you my score.
it was bad, wasn't it?
Well, Tom McCarthy's break even this week, negative 175. Only a fraction lower than my score. 1770.
Oh, not great from you, Vance. Jeez, that's that's a shocker. What happened?
1,200 spots.
What happened?
1,200. You're ahead of me now overall.
Yep.
Where's my ice cream?
It was never in doubt either. Said I was coming home strong. You didn't believe me. You said you were waiting. Oh yeah, after the buys I'll be all right. Are you still going to be okay? You've put up an absolute gross score there. Are you going to be all right?
I've looked at my team now, put all my guns back on, and it is looking hot. Now,
Okay.
I'm going to say right now, Monday, June 30, recording, I'll be top of the pod this week. Lock
All
it
right.
in.
Let's get into our heroes and villains for the week, Vance. I'll let you start. Who's your hero in your rabble over there?
Don't have many heroes.
No.
I've only had one player score above 108.
Oh.
One of them, Nick Dacos. Was my captain.
At least he's your captain.
Have to
Not
give it
too
to
many
him.
big scores this week from our premium big dogs. I had one pop out of nowhere, and I've got to give him my hero for the week. Matty Rao, 147. Wasn't expecting these ceiling scores from the great man. You know, his price had plummeted. I picked him up quite early. others jumped on him around the 400 odd K mark, and he's been really outstanding. Obviously re-signed with the Suns last week as well, and rewarded the faith with 147 for me there. Also a shout out to our rookie saviour, Tom McCarthy.
Yep.
Another ton. Second game, 101 points for the mighty Weagles as we stormed home. Nearly got the dubs over the flag favourites there in the Pies. So shout out to him. And that's my heroes for the week.
Villains? You got any villains? Because by what you've been saying to me, you don't have many.
Well,
villains.
I mean, you probably.
I'll get the popcorn out.
I feel like we can collectively have these guys because I mean I had a pretty solid score, but it would have been much bigger had my actual premiums fired. So we can probably share these, and you can add in a couple of extra villains.
Mm-hmm.
Harry Sheezel, 60, then injured in the last 90 seconds as well. Hopefully he's going to be okay. The latest word on that is that he will be 60. We had Bont again, letting us down. 63, he scored.
Lost in a long time for the Bont.
I had an Adam Chera, 66. Ooh. I'm even going to throw in Tom de Koning in there, 85. Didn't get him to get these subpar scores. That's not good enough. Do we even throw in a max score 90? Is that enough from the big fella? We knew it was a tough schedule, but still hoped for some tons.
Yeah, put him in there.
Who else have we got? Oh, I mean, so if you are watching again, I've got some new bobbleheads in the studio now. There's one close to you over there that, you know, the picture has fallen off the wall.
Pushed him over. No, he's all right. Yeah, man.
Jason Horn-Francis only got a 49, subbed off as well. That was tactical to give his shoulder.
Kenny did say that his shoulder was still a little bit sore. Took the opportunity. Now they got a longer break between games. Probably see him further up in the midfield and at least a full game, you'd think, next week.
You got any other villains to add? It was just one of those weeks where if you didn't have any, lucky guys like yourself.
How long do I have?
If you didn't have those couple of ceilings like a Rosie, a Rao, like a Dacos, even a Butters, like if you didn't have any of these guys, you would have had a similar weekend to.
I had Zach Butters. Forgot about him.
Over here.
He's my second above 108, Zach Butters.
Give us some then.
We'll throw in Callum Mills.
Yeah. Oof. You were pretty big on
Is that all you want to say? I told you so. I can see it.
Must have. What did you drop?
56.
Classic Callum Mills right there.
Sam Darcy, 73.
And you were, by the way, the group chat, when Sam Darcy started firing, you and Five Names both hammering Simmy. Actually, Five Names had him VC.
Yep. Well, he was the best clear best on ground at half time. Had one kick in the third term.
Mm.
I'd be worried if I was you, didn't have him this Thursday night against North under the lid.
Yep.
But buy, hold, sell went double down on Darcy and Mills last week. Probably have one blemish for the year. That's probably it. Anyway, I don't want to talk about my team anymore until we talk about what it's going to look like because, as we know,
Vance,
we did it.
We did it. We are through the buys. We made it to the end.
I won't swear again.
No,
but
that was a long period. Round 12 to round 16.
Yep.
We finally made it out on the other side. Well done for persisting through. I did enjoy the 3 trades a week and the best 18 when it suited me, but we're out the other side now. How is the team looking? You said, we just mentioned before, not a great week for you, but you're pretty confident. You got a bit of swagger coming out the other end though.
Top of the pod this week.
Oh, you're calling it?
I've already called it. Put 5 minutes ago.
Okay. We'll see.
Show you my team soon.
Yep.
But this is your segment.
Yep.
Soon coming up.
It is. So we'll go through how we finished the buys, but we want to talk about how the listeners are going post-buy. So we're doing our latest update on the Lair Listener League. It's been a while. We said we'd wait till after the buys to give an update there. So the leader of the Lair League. Now, you can't join anymore. We cut that off before the buys. Just
quietly, almost 4,500 entrants in the Lair League.
That's a massive amount.
We love it. Thank you.
Debut of the big Lair League. Now, SFL Superstars is the current leader, Sarah.
Yep.
They're 9th overall.
Huge.
9th overall.
Dropped 2 spots on the weekend.
Yep. Still going amazing. Now, for the winner of the Lair League, we've got a little care package growing here.
Growing is a good word.
It's growing, a few bits of extra merch. It's a bunch. You're going to get a bunch of merch. So whoever wins that is going to, hopefully in addition to the 50K, we hope that they can get at the end of the year coming first overall.
Just enjoy my ice cream. That's all right.
You'll also get a little
through.
care package from the Lair fans.
And also, if you are in LA, 5 names.
Five names.
Buy you a beer.
Going to
Or
buy that
a
beer.
beverage, a soft drink.
Now, second overall, the Slippery Geckos, James team, 10th overall. So shout out to our 2 top 10 coaches in the Lair League.
Up 22 spots this week as well, which is a big jump inside the top 40.
32 coaches, though, in the top 100, including 7 in the top 20. Good luck, everyone, for the run home.
So we've got 30% of the
Amazing
top 100.
Yep. What the
32%.
advice that we are providing on the show.
Mm.
And 5 names. Got his little headphones here just so he can scroll. So, yeah, you're going to be getting an awesome little batch of Supercoach merch as well as whatever you get, hopefully, in that prize at the end of the year.
Hopefully Sarah gets the money.
Now, we're talking how we went from the start of the buys to the end of buys. So we mentioned it before we entered the buys that the whole goal, obviously, is coming out the other end. You want to get as close as you can, if not a full premium side. And then we also wanted a better rank than when we came in. So
Well, that was the plan.
I just thought we'll just do a really quick recap. Where you were at round 11 before entering the buys, and then where you finished after round 16.
Okay, do I need to get the popcorn out again?
Do you want to go first?
You're going first. I'm getting the popcorn out.
Rank entering the buys. Now, I was actually pretty surprised about this. 2,412. That's actually better than I thought it was going to be because I dropped to 6,152 after round 12. So after the first buy round, if you remember, that was my worst buy round by far. Dropped to 6,000. Finished the buys though, coming out 2,295. As you said, surpassed you for the first time in, might be this season.
Yeah, definitely.
In overall rank. Officially top of the overall pod at the moment. Pretty happy with that. We'll talk about maybe our best trade over the buy too in a second if you can recall that, Fant. But where'd you finish? What was your entering the buy and coming out of the buy?
452 heading into round 12. 452 in the world after my 2,500, that big week.
Oof.
All was looking good. The top 100 charge was well and truly on.
Not on anymore.
Gradually fell each week after that, but it was all under 2K.
Yeah.
So hovered. Dropped, as I said at the top of the show, 1,200 spots on the weekend. Now sit 2,966.
Yep.
Not great. We lost 2,500 spots overall, all basically off the one bad week. And it showed with you too.
Yep.
Your first bye week, you dropped a lot.
Heaps.
Your last bye week, you rose a lot.
Yeah.
That's still going to happen. Yes, the teams are going to be similar now as we get the run home. Best 22 scoring doesn't show up. Well, it might expose some, but not all hope is lost if you did have a week like me and dropped.
Best trade, worst trade. What do you got over the buy period?
I wasn't too happy or disappointed either way. Best one, traded Matty Roberts and Levi Ashcroft, turned them into Zach Butters and Colby McKercher. Now, pretty obvious trades I think I've made in the last 4 or 5 weeks. Attack the value. Zach Butters, good buying. Roberts and Ashcroft. Yes, Ashcroft has done the last Brisbane game, but he'd probably made his money in McKercher. Again, happy with his return on the weekend. The role is definitely there. We've got a great sample size now to confirm that. Worst trade, Zach Reid obviously had to trade out, so it wasn't about what went out. It was about what came in. A few other point of difference primos, some cheaper primos. Nasiah Wanganeen Miller, Jordan Clark, for example, have outscored Lachie Whitfield, who I went with significantly. Whitfield, we hopefully
play
return this week. We'll talk about that soon. But that was probably in terms of the primo selection.
Yep. I got to say, my best trade coming out of the buys, I managed to pick up Nick Dacos, who I had faded for the entire season up until that point. So picked him up in round 12, got him at 536K, and then probably my favourite trade of the year to date, and obviously it depends on how he gets through the rest of the season. Jai Caldwell, got him at 429K. Just looks like, fringe top 10, top 8, possibly midfielder.
Top 8.
Maybe. Top 10 to 12 at least, you'd hope, on the run home. I mean, unfortunately, Darcy Parish looks like he's going to miss more time as well. So he's solidly in that midfield. Yeah, I just loved picking him up. I sort of backed my gut on that one.
What was that when you copied 5 names?
Backed my own gut. And yeah, that was trading Caleb Daniel, which actually hurt a little bit. and Zach Reed. So a couple of outs there. My worst trade coming into the buys, I picked up Bont at 660k off the advice of you. So,
Me? Ooh. Bont.
Yep.
Good
Bont.
buying this week.
Yeah.
Might feature later in the top targets, but hit us up in CoSports YouTube, the comments or on social if you've had a massive rankings climb over the buys or a fall like me. Let us know how you've gone.
Okay. Just some Lair news.
Oh.
Just settled on that as the new name for this
Yep.
segment off the top. Let me know if you've got anything else. But the major things heading into round 17, obviously Harry Sheezel watch is the big one. Injured the shoulder if you didn't catch that game, grabbed his shoulder right at the end. There was like 90 seconds left on the deck, grabs the shoulder, looked not great at the time, but Ralphie's latest news on that is that North reckon he'll play. He's had the scans on Sunday. So the only issue is they've got that short turnaround. They've got the Thursday game, don't they?
Yeah, main training on Tuesday. Expect him to get through what he said, what Ralphie said.
Hopefully that's all good. Obviously coming off a 60-point score, some coaches maybe, if they did have trades, eager to jump off regardless, but it's not ideal, is it, having an injury concern and coming off a poor game.
Did you end up trading last week? How many trades do you have left?
Got the 5.
Okay.
Didn't trade. Held firm. Held firm.
That was what hurt
me. How many you got?
I'll get my ice cream back because I used 3 trades. Still scored 17-70, but I got Jack McRae. And again, my team is looking good. But interesting to see what the listeners have, how many trades I think they've got. I've got an extra on the bench now, so that counts as well. So,
yep. And probably the reason for a bit of your drop there in ranks, fans, that ice cream you're having over there must be vanilla, because very vanilla trades on the run home from old Vance. Lachie Whitfield, will he return from concussion? Our other bit of Lair news that we're waiting to see. Now, hopefully these two can be answered on Breaking Even later in the week on the HBF injury report on the Wednesday show. So keep an eye out on that, because that'll be a big talking point as well. Lachie Whitfield returning from concussion. He had the bye. He would be able to play if he's cleared, if he's passed all the tests. And if they decide if he's comfortable playing, he'll be able to play for GWS this week, hoping he returns for my squad as well.
West Coast too.
Oh, could be.
250th game as well, Lachie Whitfield.
Yep. Now, we noticed some wording entering as well, the Lair. Tom de Koning, some of the wording used in an article published on Code Sports.
Yep. You're worried?
Saw Ruckman.
But was
Tom de Koning.
saw Ruckman. The rest of the sentence did get through training.
Got through training. Saw. Don't like to see that.
They're all a bit sore down there at the moment.
Premiums.
Yep. You worried about that?
I'm just worried about the scores. This is exactly what he did to me last year. I jumped on after a hot streak, injured, and then he actually didn't play the rest of the year. Does he want to go into cotton wool given the contract situation at the moment as well, and given where Carlton's season's at? Who knows? I just don't want Pitnet back inside. If he's back in, you know what? He might be out for me with those 5 trades. He might be gone straight back out again.
For who?
Don't know. Figure that out later.
Ooh,
Final DPPs, though, on the way, Phantom.
Yep.
Probably the biggest news coming. There are a couple of names of interest. I'll say it's probably more draft relevant at this time of year. There's no major swings, but one
How's
player...
the draft podcast going?
Might have to boost it back up now. No, I'm top of the pod. Don't need to. DPP, Sam Doherty is probably the biggest name that is in line, along with one other that may get it if he just plays purely forward this week. So Sam Doherty's sitting... After this, I've got the fresh DPP numbers. 40% defense has Sam Doherty.
Lair exclusive.
Exclusive. Al sent them through, so
5% above the threshold there, Sam.
5% above, so you've got to play 35% in another position. Sam Doherty's a mid only. He's going to hopefully he will get defensive status if he plays this week. Now, a lot of Carlton fans wanting him out of the side at the moment with his ball use, just not as damaging as perhaps he once was. I hope he keeps playing. I love Doc.
He wasn't great.
I love Doc, though.
Scored a ton.
Don't down the Doc.
I didn't say it, but I have heard people refer to it as the worst ton they've ever seen.
Yeah.
But he wasn't alone.
No.
Still ran, still put in the effort, which
puts it in. Yeah.
Arguably some of them didn't.
Okay.
So, wait and see.
Will Ashcroft, though, 31% forward. So with one game left after this round coming, that's when the DPPs will drop. Will Ashcroft he's not going to get it unless he plays basically exclusively forward, you'd imagine. So,
But if the role does continue, when he starts forward of centre, 2026,
could be on.
Forward.
Zach Merritt, people wondering about him. It's not going to happen. He's only 26% forward, so it's too much to make up. An interesting couple of names, though, for next year, just to watch. Sammy Flanders. Sam Flanders.
Why was we have a Sam Flanders bobblehead?
He's playing exclusively forward. If you're wondering, you can only have 2 positions. So we don't have the third DPP. Sam Flanders, if we did, he'd be a forward defender mid, but we don't. So he's going to be a def mid this year. Next year, if we stopped right now, he'd be only a forward. He'd
Forward
be
only.
Jack McRae forward only. 75% forward, 24% mid. So,
Harry Sheezel.
Interesting note there. And the other one I was looking at, Luke Jackson. Could we see another ruck mid that I think we've only really seen from someone like Mark Blitzarv? So at the moment, 78% ruck, 89% mid. Obviously, that includes the ruck time. So it's just adding an extra 11%, you'd say, playing as a midfielder, roughly. And then 11% forward. It wouldn't be enough at the moment, but if Sean Darcy's in the side, we could actually see him play possibly enough mid. At some point next year, we could get a ruck mid. It's just a watch. All right, Fance. Let's get to maybe one of the last times we need this on the show. Rookies on the bubble. 5 names not here to enjoy this, but I'll be quick because Tom McCarthy might break the record for the most money made in a week.
Errol Gordon, $123,800 back in 2021. Obviously, those big 2 Supercoach tons. First 2 games of his career, McCarthy. I think he would need, a low ton or anything more than that to break the record.
He's good for a 120 this week too, I reckon, old Tommy.
On field?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's a tough one if you're now looping because he's going to be, rookie blemishes, you'd imagine, will be on the way. Yep. But he's just looking the goods, mature age player.
Did look good. I watched him closely on Saturday night.
He's good.
Looked the part too.
Player.
So again, if you don't have him,
must have. Yep, 99K. Archer May's the other interesting one this week on the bubble. So if he plays for Essendon again, he's got a negative 62 break even. Now, I will just say this as well. At the moment, I think the important thing, especially if you're super low on trades, you don't necessarily need the guys that are going to be, I said this the other week, it's more about just making that trade on the other end. 99K is really crucial at this time. It's the cheapest we can get them.
You're not playing the break-even game anymore.
No, you're not. Like, they're break-even, they're going to make cash for sure. Yep. But we're not really, are you going to have the trades to trade these guys out? Probably not. Maybe a Tom McCarthy if he just explodes, like we said, and you end up wanting to trade him out to upgrade that final trade. You've got a few trades left last few weeks. But yeah, it's irrelevant how much money these guys make in general out of these players. You're either looking for cover on your bench if you're looking for that job security, or Phantom, you might be just looking for a player that is 99K that can swing between positions. So you might even go and get a donut at this time of year. Would you say that's all right to go get, say you need to link your defense and your mid for a bit of swing action, would you just say I've seen one of the most traded in player is a guy who hasn't played a game who's a defender mid just to get that swing.
Yep. I think it's definitely worth some thought, all team dependent, how many trades you've got, how much bench cover you got, how many premiums you've got. If you're sort of all low on all those guys, giving yourself another donut, could that expose you? Then you'd think twice.
Yep.
But if not, if you've got a little bit of cover on each line, you sort of got, if this trade, then it'll allow you to bring in another premium, a 23rd premium, just say, then go for it, because that's gonna be important. As say if you go with Archer May and he scores 40 or 30, then that's not going to help you potentially. But if you got that opening up that swing, it allows you to cover when a premium doesn't play with that extra 23rd. The points difference could be a lot greater than getting something on field this week. So definitely worth some thought.
So Tom McCarthy, then Archer May is the list of bubble boys that we're going there. Then there is the Flying Viking.
Ooh.
Looked very good again on the weekend.
14 spoils.
Alexander Tauru.
14 spoils, a club record.
Wow.
Ever.
Yep. That's
and
incredible.
equal most, an equal equal the club record.
Yep.
And the equal most in any game this year by any player in his second game.
163K forward defender. Now, it's just a bit, as we said, trying to free up cash. It is a lot to pay.
Well, this is it.
That's the thing where cover versus paying the extra money. So whoever you're getting on the other end, but he put up a 77 on the weekend, up from 44 on his first game. Again, the break even, it's negative 25. That's pretty relevant how much money he's going to make. You probably, if you're going him, you're just going to get some cover. So if on the other end, you've got a bit of extra money to spend and you just want that job security, you think that Towery from here plays.
Yeah. If you don't need the extra money from a 99K or a donut, then you might as well do it.
Yep.
Again, if he turns some of those small spoils eventually, which he will eventually, into intercept marks, his scoring will go through the roof. Only 9 touches for him, but given those spoils, 77 Supercoach points. A lot to work with there. Could be one we're talking about next preseason.
Yep. Now, just a couple more. Again, I think my favourite rookie, now I mentioned him last week on this segment, Harry Rouston for me, 161K. If you do, again, want that cover and want to pay a bit extra and you've got that spot in the midfield, he would be the guy that I would be bringing in if you've already got a McCarthy and an Archer May.
Yep.
I love Rouston. Back-to-back 20-plus centre bounce attendances for GWS. He was 5th best for them as well before the bye when they played their last game before the bye. They've had 2 wins with him in that role as well against pretty solid opposition, Brisbane and the Suns. So for me, Rouston is the guy to bring in if you do want that extra bit of job security, I hope. Great role as a midfielder. And could just sit on your bench. And if you desperately need him, if one of your midfielders misses, you can probably rely on him to get you. Look, I'm not saying he's going to get an amazing score, but you'd hope with the midfield role 60 to 70 plus, which isn't the end of the world if you have someone missing.
Yep.
The other thing is just to keep an eye out for more debutants. You know, we could wait a little bit longer if you've already got those Archer May and the McCarthy. Someone like a Ben Camporelli could play for Carlton given their struggles. Someone like a Taj Houghton Dossie's big on Taj. Have him in my keeper league.
My boy, I've heard you say as well. Another one. How many you got?
He's the one. Was going, I think you were doing a lot of the draft coverage last year, like top 5 prospect before doing his ACL in his draft year.
Yep.
Maybe even a top 2, 3 type guy for that point. So he played his second game of VFL for the year on the weekend, 25 touches, 10 score involvements, 93 Supercoach points. Just one to watch. Hopefully, from the Supercoach perspective, we'd want him to probably wait till next year to debut and then it's just a lock.
Yep.
But he might play a couple more in the VFL, then get a gig. So just
Richmond as well, which helps his chances of playing.
Yep. And Ben Camporelli, he's been averaging 113 in his last 4 games for Carlton in the VFL. So 88 Supercoach average for the season, but in some rich vein of form. Right, Phantom, let's get into a couple of interesting little things here. So it's a part of the season, as we said, teams possibly complete, trades running low. What do we talk about on the Lair? That's what we've got to think about here, Vance.
Plenty to talk about. 8 weeks
to talk about.
There are some teams out there, apparently like yourself, who've saved these trades, could get an advantage by using them. Do you do it now? Do you hold them? That's another question altogether. We say you want to complete your team with the premiums. Then you get to a point, if you've got some trades, then, can you upgrading premiums?
Yeah.
But who goes out?
Who goes out? And I think we're going to go the Lair's trade out power rankings.
Got a sting for us, do you?
I was thinking about just playing Fance Farm, but I don't have a sting for us on this one, fortunately. Maybe I will. Maybe we'll just get whatever this bargain hunting sting is. This can be it. Trade out power rankings.
Ooh, like it.
Yeah, I like this. All right, so I've compiled a list of names from the most traded out, only in the premium bracket though, because if you've got those rookies that are fattened up, you can trade them willy-nilly. It doesn't matter. The big question is when you've got these guys that are supposed to be premiums or mid-price premiums, it's about whether or not to just jump off, get up to a real Uber premium this time of the year. So I've got a list of names here, and maybe we can work together to list them in order.
Live rankings.
Live rankings.
Code Sports YouTube
haven't
channel
done
as
this.
well. You can
Yep.
see them,
Thanks,
see our rankings.
Add that after.
More work for old Gaz.
These are the names. Matt Roberts, Harry Sheezel, Adam Chera, Shea Bolton, Tom De Koning, Leighton Oliver for people still holding him, Callum Mills straight in, straight out for some coaches, and Tom.
You probably just added him in. Have you just added him in?
I haven't. People are trading him out, some people. And Tom Liberatore. I mean, he had a 50 on the weekend. Tom Liberatore.
On into the fence.
Yep. So who are we saying? I mean, for me, number one, straight off the bat, role change. Callum Mills now in the side.
One.
Not Callum
Matt
Mills is in the side. I'm thinking Matt Roberts could almost be the number one here. What are you thinking?
Close. Shea Bolton also going into the equation. Freo have had their good stretch at home.
Yep.
How would you put Matt Roberts there, though? We'll agree on that. Matt Roberts, number one.
Where does Clary sit? Does he climb up there as well? Especially given the midfield slot being pretty important. You know, our defenders here and there. Defense is almost as critical this year given how high scorers they can be.
447k for Clayton Oliver. So he's still within reach of a few cheaper premiums. So I think he probably can go up there. And you probably can, there's more options to choose from as well. It's also about what you can get, like you said, with. You want to be, you know, the more difference you can add between what you're trading out, points-wise, what you're trading in for the price.
Could I say my number one? If Mark Pitnet's back in, TDK soars to number one. And you know why? It's because he's still got a bit more money than some of these guys. He's got like 100 extra K than an Oliver, than a Roberts.
Why don't we put Roberts 1, Oliver 2, TDK 3 then?
TDK, I think it depends though. If he's still solo ruck, I think he's probably going to be much, he's probably safer than most of these other guys.
Okay.
But should we say 3, no Pitnet, if Pitnet's named?
Yep.
All right. Happy with that. And then he goes to last for me, I think, if he's
Yep, that's fair.
Yep. 4th?
Shea Bolton?
Yeah, let's go Shea. What about, so the other guys left here, Harry Sheezel, Adam Chera, Callum Mills, and Libber. You're clearly not jumping off Callum Mills, still pretty cheap. Like where are you going to go with that cash?
Yeah, exactly.
That's probably my question.
Work out what you're going to get for the trade.
And there's only limited sample size as well. So he's had some big games already and he's just had the one stinker. Whereas, Clayton Oliver, there's enough sample there to say he's had a fair few stinkers at this point.
Yep.
Same with Matt Roberts. It's a bit of a role change. There's something to tell the story there. Callum Mills, we just needed another look, I think.
Yep.
Happy with that. Chera, though. Chera versus someone like a Sheezel with the injury concern at the moment. What are you thinking there? Positional value, you just hold Shees?
I think so.
Dump Chera.
Chera had it, yep.
All right, Chera's next. Sheezel, Libber, Mills. The Libber factor for me is a bit of a weird one, isn't it?
Well, he has pushed back behind the ball a little bit more. Treloar is obviously out. Still in the previous 2 weeks, 113 and 97. They could flick it back again.
I think I'd be happy holding Libber as a pod for the run home.
Yeah,
I think
they've still got a good run, yeah.
Pretty good schedule.
Roos this week, Crows, finish the season, the Dogs, Melbourne, West Coast, and Freo. How many? 8 games left.
Yep.
6 at Marvel, 1 at the MCG against the Ds.
I'm happy putting him last. He's a pod. Could have a couple of ceiling scores. Dogs are going well. I'm putting him as the last priority.
Yep. So then probably put Mills at 6, Sheezel at 7.
Okay. Yep. All right. To recap, Roberts, number 1, Oliver, 2, TDK 3rd if Pitnet's a sniff of playing.
So if he's
last if not.
Yep. So then everyone just shuffles down.
Yep. And then we've got Shea Bolton 4th, Chera 5th, Mills 6th, Sheezel 7th, and just Libber. Just giving Libber the run there at 8.
I think there's a clear top 4 there.
Yeah.
Just take away the TDK thing for a minute. You got 3 Roberts, Oliver, and Shea Bolton.
Yep.
If you got those 3 in your final side, they're the ones you're probably looking to move on. Then you have to make the call whether you wait 2 or 3 weeks, look at the break-evens. Then there'll be less risk. There'll be less games to go, less potential games you have to cover with an injury or a suspension that you have to cover with a trade.
Yep.
If you do it this week, then 2 weeks' time you get an injury, then you still have to cover 4 or 5 weeks of a potential 0. So you've got to weigh up how many trades you've got left right now, how many trades you would have left in case of an emergency. But they're probably the 3 guys. And TDK, as you mentioned, if Mark Pitnet comes in and if, which we think it will, the Blues form continues. Collingwood this Friday night.
Are there any off the top of your head players that you'd be other premiums that you have any concerns over? So I know some people worried about Merritt. Obviously, he had the bye on the weekend, but still some concern about role. Jack Sinclair, the last couple, I'm not really into that. As a non-Jack Sinclair owner, I'd be still comfortable going with him. I think he's just had a couple of bad games. Any others that ring true, or is it just kind of those major ones we're talking about there? What about Whitfield? If you like, he's going to miss just this 1 week, you're still low on trades. I know you've only got a couple. You're just holding and just taking that bullet, aren't you?
I think so. Given his ceiling, I think he's less of a worry, given we saw him go back into defence, Callaghan back into the side. Stephen Cornelio also returned to the VFL. Adam Kingsley was confirmed on Monday. Another body into that midfield forward rotation for the Giants at some point. So I think Lachie Whitfield back in that role in defence is someone you do want to have. A lot of Supercoach trade out Lachie Neale last week. Obviously, if you have held, then you probably continue to hold. It's a hard one. Zach Merritt might feature in the next segment. In the other way, Gold Coast this week, then Richmond again for Zach Merritt. Not someone you're probably going to trade out. And the tagging situation, it's hard to be sure when they're going to be deployed and when they aren't. We knew Marcus Winhager didn't do a lot of tagging at the start of the year. We know he's done it before. Did it specifically to Nick Dacos 2 weeks ago. Got torched by Nick. Many coaches were expecting, even Justin Longmuir himself, the Freo coach, said during the week that he expected Winhager to go to Caleb Sarong. Ross Lyon joked around about it. No tag Sunday. So we could sit here and say, let's plan out for the tags and work out your premiums based on that. But again, how can you be sure?
Vance. Drew Jones, our friend of the show.
Breaking news.
Lachie Whitfield has been ruled out of the Giants' trip to Perth. He won't face the Eagles. Turnaround is just a bit too tight after his concussion against the Gold Coast. Kieran Briggs also a test for those with running Nick Madden. That's big news. We've got some big news to talk about. Lachie Whitfield, sorry. So huge call. I think we've just laid out already. I think we're both a hold if we can. Me with the 5 trades. Might pull the trigger. Pull the trigger.
What are you thinking?
Well, at the moment, so in my structure, it's very unique. I've got Doherty sitting on the bench because I can't I actually miss, even though we do the content, I thought DPPs came in a week earlier. So I've got him stuck on the bench. I might trade out a Whitfield and a Doherty and try and sort of get a couple of defenders or sort that out.
Just not concerned about Lachie Whitfield in the final 7 weeks, given our high ceiling and how clear he was the number 1 defender in that permanent role in the opening 10 weeks.
Lachie Ash.
Not having him.
This is good. Might grab him. Nah, I don't know.
I'll have to get an extra week.
So I'll have to think about it.
It is an extra score and there's only 8 weeks left.
Yep.
But
I think if you've got more, put it this way.
How many trades do you have to have?
I'd like more than 5, I think. But I'm happy with I'd be happy with 5, I think. What do you think? The thing that it's sounding like it's just an extra week though, which when we're trying to be frugal with our trades, I think an extra 1 week is probably not worth a trade. It's more the 2 to 3 that I'm looking to use those trades on.
Yeah.
But yeah, to the other side of the coin, we got to get points on the field. And if there's no other 2 to 3 week injuries and I'm just holding this extra trade, then it seems wasteful not to use it.
let's do a quick little segment. Say you can do it in one trade.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got a bit of cash in the bank.
Yep.
Let's say, 40K?
Yep.
Or 40K under? Or
Yep.
50?
Yep.
Or if you can do another trade, you can get it.
Yep.
Lachie Whitfield 509. You get up to 550 now in K. Brings in a few good options.
Yep.
There. Top of the tree there. Lockie Ash, 557. Bailey Dale, 550. Connor Rosie, 547. Luke Ryan, 546. I'm just throwing through that. Jack Sinclair at 538. Dane Zorko, 510. Or you could make money. It might feature in the next segment.
No.
Get the vomit bag out.
Yeah, Tom Stewart.
Tom
Well, pass me the empty popcorn.
Stewart. That's what you should do. So
Yeah,
what's your
5 and
ranking?
4
Give us a top three within 50K.
I mean, that is the thing that you do get with Tom Stewart. 2 of his next 3, it's Richmond and St Kilda, and then he's got Richmond in round 24 as well. So I know we've talked about the Geelong fixture for the run home. It's been talked about a lot for a Bailey Smith and a Max Holmes, but I mean, I did start, for those new listeners, I started with Tom Stewart. That's why I'm so hurt.
I might go down to
I
one
had
trade.
to get rid of him.
Whitfield to Stewart.
I'll tell you what, he's probably the
That's
best.
the move.
He's probably the best. They've also got North Melbourne in there and Essendon. I mean, if he stays healthy for the rest of the season, Tom Stewart could be, that's
And so
105
Richmond
to 110
this week
at least.
down at the Cattery.
Yeah.
Then the Saints is in 2 weeks. Saints down at the Cattery. 2 weeks after that, Port at the Cattery. Then Essendon at the Cattery.
Oof. Would you still prefer, if you can go, say you got a little bit of extra cash, would you still prefer like a Wanganeen Miller at 570, like if you can get up there, or would you still go, just go Tom Stewart, try and match him? Wanganeen Miller 120 in his last 5 games. Like if I can, if that's an option for people out there as well.
Maybe. I like Bailey Dale still 550.
Okay. Very interesting. Well, fans, that was a bit of breaking news that came in, but
Nick Martin, if you can get there.
Why don't we get into the fans? Top targets for the week. You've been pretty smug yourself with these.
Late change.
Late change as well, given the news.
Yep.
All right, let's hear it. Lachie Whitfield out.
Lachie Whitfield is out, so the targets have taken a bit of a shake-up. At number 1 stays the same. Tom McCarthy, if you haven't been listening to us in the past couple of weeks, get on this week. Again, it's not all about the cash and the money he's going to make with a negative 175 break even. About the points on field, back-to-back Supercoach tons for him, Tom McCarthy, at number 1 this week. Loop him on, or have him as part of your final 23 on field. That's going to work at the moment. Number 2, Marcus Bontempelli. If you haven't got him yet, this could be the week to jump on. He is cheap. Break evens now under 3 figures. 568K for the Bulldogs champ. North Melbourne this week on Thursday night. Yes, he scored 63. Looks a bit funny trading a player that just scored 63, but as we know, this isn't any players. Gone 123, 157 and 169 his past 3 against North. You do have some money in the midfield. He could be the option. Moving up to number 3, Tom Stewart from Geelong, 504K with the news. Lachie Whitfield out. He was at number 4 on this list even before that news. Given the dream run home, given his scoring in the past month, Supercoach chums, I think 3 in a row, which the Chief isn't happy about. So Tom Stewart, great buying there. A great value option to finish off your team. You could use one trade or the cash in the bank you've got rather than do another one, saving one for the run home. Number 4, Archer May, 99K. Just again, if you need the downgrade, might as well go someone playing. Someone got to make some cash if for some reason you do need it or do have some trades in the run home. Number 5, some might think this is a bit of a stretch, but Zach Merritt, when we're looking for value premium, some questioned whether you would trade him out last week on the Bombers buy. 511K. Gold Coast have given up a lot of points. Yes, they've scored some themselves. 2 midfielders recently. His last meeting with the Suns, 145 for Zach Merritt. Then the week after, Richmond at the MCG again for the Bombers. So if you're short on cash, you want to finish your midfield with a value upgrade, we don't always play for short term, but 2 big weeks then could kickstart Zach Merritt. We saw his CBAs back up in the past couple of weeks. Darcy Parish injured himself over the weekend as well. He'd come back into the CBA mix, which allowed Brad Scott to play Zach Merritt a bit behind the ball. So hopefully that midfield role goes back to where we know he does his best work. It'd be great Supercoach buy off the run home.
Love it, fans. Another great addition of top targets. Interesting. I hadn't even considered, like, I genuinely, because I've just wiped him off my radar. I think I said never again, didn't I?
You did.
Tom Stewart.
He's back on. He's back in play.
Yeah, he might be.
Ooh.
Just keep, like I said, keep this empty popcorn bag in the studio for next week.
I'll be enjoying it.
Old Tom Stewart. He better not let me down again if I do go there.
You need to apologise to him then for all that bagging you've done.
I still don't think I'll be able to go there, but we'll see.
If they are asking that question, they can ask it to me directly.
Yeah.
What question do you want to ask me?
Some questions.
5 names. Did ask Ken some questions on Thursday night. But I listened very intently, hoping that Ken would mention the hair. Didn't.
Wow.
He was happy too. They won.
Okay, we've got some questions coming in from Instagram at SuperCoach AFL. Go follow us on Instagram. We're also on X, Facebook, TikTok, wherever you get your socials. But Instagram popping off lately, fans. So you can check out there, go onto the story.
Some of your best work?
Yep, some of our best work over there. So check out the stories. We'll put on some questions. And then we also usually do for Breaking Even as well to get your questions in there. This one from Maxi. Trade Sheezel for Merritt in flex a good move.
So he Merritt.
Or Miller.
Took Miller? Merritt. But
Three trades left after doing that.
Ooh. I think if Sheezel plays, you have to hold. But I don't, as if you are listening, been listening, I do like Zach Merritt.
This one from Ben Hope. You going well, boys? Thank you. 2 trades left. One rookie to upgrade left.
Oof.
Make the upgrade or leave. Do you think it's
guessing he's got to use both those trades? I wouldn't do it just yet.
Yeah.
I think it's wait. You get 2 or 3 weeks, no injury suspension. Then do it. Then you got 5 weeks. You might get through another 2. Then you maybe only have 2 or 3 weeks to cover if something happens. So just lessen the risk. Can with 2 trades.
This one from McLarty Flooring, getting a little plug in for his own.
Well played.
There.
Well played.
Is it worth keeping McCarthy as last defender and trade Mills to make bank? Maybe that's where we're seeing people trying to make some money off Mills. Now, I never got Mills based on the fact that I had McCarthy as that extra defender. I thought paying the extra money wasn't right in my circumstance for my team. Still saw the value in Mills. What do you think of going there now? Probably just the value of a trade, isn't it? And how many you've got left there.
Yeah. 56 is low. Breaking of 70. Still got some money to make. Does Tom McCarthy definitely outscore Callum Mills from here? I don't think you can say that.
Brody, Matty Roberts to Kirch in 1 trade.
Yep.
Or a big dog in 2? It's a good question. He's got 6 trades left here, Brody, and 23 primos. So full squad of premiums, but looking to just upgrade that Matty Roberts position. Another one of those players in our power ranking. He was number 1 of our trade out. So you're happy to get rid of him, but would you go McKercher or use 2 trades to get a big dog?
Ooh, good question.
That is a good question.
What do you think? I like McKercher. The role's there. Leading ball winner again, I think. 32, 4 North. In a spanking.
Depends on the big. If it's like Wayne and Miller, that might be like 20 extra points.
How many trades do you have left?
6 trades left before the moves.
Okay.
I would go the big dog, I think.
Use it. If you are in the same situation, you've got 2 or 3 trades, then definitely McKercher. But
also with the 6 trades, like I mentioned a couple of guys before, like maybe a Rouston makes you an extra 200-300K and you can if you've got that many trades left, you walk out with 4, you might be able to downgrade and upgrade another person after that, bringing in the extra rookie. I think I would do the big dog. I'd go the big dog. Jack wants to know, I've got 4 trades left. What do I do?
Good question, Jack. I think we've hopefully covered a few different scenarios on the show. It's all very team dependent.
Yep.
With what you do this week. Look at what's ahead. Look at what you've got. Look at what might happen. Look at the loophole options you can use and then make the call. But very team dependent, I think, this week and going forward.
From Todd, is it worth trading Bolton? So we mentioned him as well. To Rankin, though. Isaac Rankin. That'll leave pod with 3 trades.
Ooh,
Is that too sidewaysy, Shea Bolton? But he hasn't been hitting those ceilings that we saw earlier in the season. I don't know what his centre bounces have been like. I'm not an owner, so I haven't kept as close a watch, but I know he was getting some good little mix of centre bounces when he had those nice scores earlier. I'll just have a quick look. Phantom.
450k for Isaac Rankin, close to 80 at 3/4 time against the Tigers.
He still had 50% centre bounces on the weekend. He's kind of hovered. He has some games where he doesn't go in there much.
Yeah. Rankin's been about the same, down to 32 against the Tigers, but definitely later in the game. Spent a lot of time forward in that last quarter, was up to 80. Game was in the bag for the Crows. You couldn't be sure. I like Rankin in the run home. Crows do have a good run home, and you think they will probably start using him again more in that midfield again, but you couldn't be sure enough to do it sideways. I reckon you'd have to want to go up if you're going to trade Shea Bolton. Again, like we said before, you want to make sure you're maximising, if you really, it's not about exactly who you trade sometimes, it's about the maximum points differential you can create.
Yep. I'll just go this question because it involves a little extra segment that we can integrate here. Jack, Errol the man to get. Could be a unique name, but top 4 mid as well, surely.
Pew pew.
Yep. He's unique names with the Chief this week. Brodie Grundy was my last big call. That's been pretty good, dare I say. Probably better than any of 5 names come up this whole year.
That was a good call. Was a good call.
Shout out to 5 names. But I think he'd approve of Errol. He loves himself a bit of Errol Goulden as well. So Errol Goulden, for the week. I think 580k, it's obviously a lot to pay. But yeah, he's just an extreme Supercoach scorer. We love watching him play.
95, 146.
Just a fun pod to own as well. He's come back and done that in 2 games, coming off a serious injury. Just a power runner, gets all the stuff you like to get in Supercoach, and is incredibly efficient with his work. Love it. Love that as a call. Should I find one more question here, fans?
What do we got?
Let's have a quick look. How is Jason Horne-Francis looking?
Well, it wasn't looking great, but Ken did speak, as we said at the top of the show, after the loss and after the win, and said shoulder was still a bit sore, used opportunity given the state of the game to bring him off, give him some extra time. They've got a longer break now before the trip. Obviously played on Thursday night. They are playing on Saturday night this week. Longer break. Be right to go. Hopefully then now big game up there for Port. So you think Ken, if he's okay, which I think he will be, use him even more so, get him back into that midfield mix. So again, we want to see more, but it's definitely not a trade out scenario if you've kept to now.
The pan. Finish off.
It's not as divisive as last week.
Yep.
5 names coward-like, just cowered over there in the corner up to you, didn't take my back. But as was pointed out on social, Phantom's loyal followers mentioned an incident that happened in the Friday night game.
Okay.
And it gave us an idea, Chief, as well.
Did it?
People's pan. People are out there want to join us in frying those who might burn them seriously or in a joking way in Supercoach.
Yeah.
So if you are out there, you do have someone for your own pan. We do want you to be involved in the show in the next 8 weeks. Send in your little clips. It can be from the weekend. It can be from during the week. It can be a player, for a coach. And of course, we don't like to get too personal. Keep it not G-rated, PG-rated for the league. You can have a go. Send it in. Send a clip.
Yep.
Get in touch with us at the Phantom SC on X, at the Phantom SC on Instagram, and at Supercoach as well on all the platforms. Send it in with the title People's Pan and your name.
Yep.
Short little clip
Yep. Send it
as
to
well.
the Phantom because otherwise,
Get lost.
may get lost in the ether. But yeah, send it to the Phantom SC. He'll pass it on and we'll upload it. I think video would be the best.
Yeah, video.
Get the video out there. As we said,
Show your colours.
we're going to try. We'll switch up some of the segments, I think, next week as well. We'll get some guests on as well to mix it up with no 5 names. We'll obviously give him a buzz as well. But we appreciate
And I'll be
everyone
top
listening.
of the pod, so
We've got plenty more to talk about, plenty of Supercoach to discuss over the next, as we said, 8 weeks. Still regular scheduled programming going forward, but yeah, we'll mix it up. We'll have a bit of fun. We'll figure some stuff out, fans.
But in the pan this week is James Harms. Now, big Sam Darcy, didn't get a kick in the third term.
Yep.
Dominated the first half, struggled with the third quarter. Goes up, takes on about 6 Sydney defenders, big pack. Gets chopped his arm, not sure exactly what happened, gets brought down, free kick, did all the hard work. The big 4 was 10 metres out. The Dogs needed a goal. He needed a big boost to get him going. What does James Hard do? Play stops, scoots along the ground, takes the ball, runs into open goal and celebrates like he did all the hard work. That was the main thing. Arms in the air, look at me, I've kicked a goal, just stolen big Sam Darcy, did all the hard work for his teammate and of course cost him in Supercoach. Got the free kick.
Yep.
That's a possession. Free kick for in a marking contest. Didn't get the goal that he was deserved. So James Harms in the pen.
Yeah. Fair enough, fans. I reckon that'll do us.
Yeah, but I've had enough.
That'll do us.
Looking forward to Thursday night. I'm going to plot my way back past you in the overall rankings. I've been talking about my team. You spoke too long about yours. I've had the popcorn out. Didn't get to see my team. He's looking very good. So I think we are going to hang around.
Yep.
Code Sports YouTube channel subscribers after this show. Quick little extra.
Yep.
Get on there, like, subscribe, and check it out. We're going to run through my final team at the moment, run through your almost final team after as well for Code Sports YouTube subscribers. So get on there and have a look after. But everyone else,
see you next
see
week.
you next week. And as promised, welcome to the bonus part of the Phantom's Lair podcast ahead of round 17. Didn't get quite enough time. The Chief was taking up too much talking about his to look through our final teams. Now, mine's pretty final. The Chief, almost final, I think, but we will get to that. We are going to run through and look at our teams, look at our trades, look at our early plans, maybe for VC and our loopholes for round 17. And if you do like it, we might keep doing it going forward. But didn't go great last week, Chief.
No.
Got a few big guns to bring back on. And
You had a
finally can see our complete team. It's finally good to get them all back on the park.
Yeah, you do have some good names coming back in.
Now, Lachie Whitfield
Mhm.
is not going to play this week,
No.
as we have just found out. So in a full team, Lachie Whitfield would be in there. I'm going to hold him. Callum Mills at D6. Tom McCarthy would be the emergency, or depending, Callum Mills, whoever plays earlier in the round. Loop one on. Hope it all works out in the fixture. It won't work out in the fixture every week with Campbell Gray there as the 0 in defence, but hoping most weeks to maximise the biggest score there from the D6. But this week with no Callum Mills, so this week with no Lachie Whitfield, Tom McCarthy starts D6. So he's the 24th player.
And at least you've got some DPP in your midfield. I'm just looking now, where if you have, like, say we recording early in the week, like a Sheezel misses, you've still got that swing with McKercher. You can move him back, say play someone else, like a rookie on field for that week in the midfield. But
and as
it's not a bad structure.
As you see, you've got Nick Martin in the flex spot in the final team, so he can also come up. But I want to keep Campbell Gray up there in the defense, on the defensive bench with that forward status as well. So the midfield, bring Lachie Neale and Zach Merritt back on, brings Colby McKercher to M8, which pretty happy with.
So just the 2 trades left, Phantom, and you've only got 17K in the bank. So you can't really do anything unless you do a downgrade. Are you holding this downgrade upgrade, or are you expecting, a 2 to 3 week injury to hold those 2? Or unless you just wait until the last couple of weeks if you get lucky run of injuries. Obviously, you're holding Lachie Whitfield the 1 trade, 1 week. Sorry, we're hoping he's back the week after.
Yep.
But yeah, you're just holding that for 2 to 3 weeks or just like a luxury final upgrade really quite close to the end of the season.
And you might wait till 4 or even 3 rounds left, depending how this team is going and the rank is going. At that point, might run the gauntlet a little bit early if I think I am falling too much. As we've said on the show, you try to minimise that risk by waiting enough. But as you see, Gawn and Cherry in the ruck, the forward line, Nick Martin coming on. He's going to be, as I've talked about on the show, the flex spot with Jack McRae coming in last week, which I was happy to spend 3 trades to get that. Gives me a lot of flexibility. Isaac Rankin on price comes down to F6. Now, Rankin been a little bit down on form. Hasn't scored a Supercoach ton for a while now. I think since round 8. Chad Warner been a touch underwhelming. Jason Horne-Francis, we've spoken about what happened to him on the weekend, been injured too. But I think they can all pull together, and not anytime soon am I going to luxury trade any of those players. But again, maybe is it the forward line where I do some work potentially.
Yeah.
We got Nick Martin there. Gold Coast this week. Richmond the week after. So we know how big he went against Richmond only 5 or 6 weeks ago now. So that is how the team is looking at the moment. Not a lot of cover on the bench. No. Sam Butler in the forward line. Manny Liddy in the midfield. And then Tom McCarthy in defence when Lachie Whitfield is back. So 1 on each line. But then again, obviously as well, with 23 players, we're only 22 scoring.
Yeah.
If worse comes to worse, you play a rookie or you take a 0 in your flex spot. Bring Nick Martin, in defence or forward. So I'm pretty happy with the flexibility I've got there. I reckon early VC Marcus Bontempelli on Thursday night against North Melbourne.
Yep.
I might have gone Lachie Whitfield if he was playing against the Eagles. However, there at Optus Stadium, not sure exactly who to go after that. Max Gawn against the Crows at Adelaide Oval. Potentially Bailey Smith maybe against Richmond as well. Another VC option if you do overlook Marcus Bontempelli, but he could be a good captaincy option there. Nick Dacos also against the Blues on Friday night. But I reckon the Bont or a Sam Darcy VC Thursday night.
Surely Bont can bounce back.
I think so.
Jeez, you'd hope so. Yeah, the squad's looking pretty good, Fans. I'll give you that. I like the thing that you've got, which we'll see in a second, that I don't have, is flexibility for coverage.
Yep.
So, having Nick Martin there with, I know he's not obviously a green dot, but having like a grey in defence, I mean, it would be better obviously if he's a playing player, but at least you've got some swing. You've got some ability to, like, if you need to cover a defender that's out, you could always switch Martin back, for instance. And you've got some DPP in the midfield to go back to cover and forward. I have literally none of that. So should we take a look at my squad?
I think we should.
Okay. All right, Vance, let's take a look at my squad now. And the first thing I'll draw your attention to, the first thing I'll just draw your attention to here, it's the season rank, which is above yours now. Just. So 229.5.
Get the popcorn back out.
Yep.
It'll be a long second.
Let's jump in and have a look at the squad. So as you can see, 5 trades still remaining in the squad, but yeah, it's not ideal. It's not the worst. It's going all right, but as we've heard, Lachie Whitfield's out this week. I'm going to have to run the gauntlet with some absolute rooks, unless I pull the trigger on a trade.
So you've got Tom McCarthy at D6 in your final team if Whitfield was playing.
I do, yes, but at the moment, based on a 2-game sample size, 117 average, I think I'd take that. At the moment, Vance. So, I mean, it's a risk, but it's a risk at the moment I'm willing to take. Also, I am, if you didn't know, a West Coast man, the listeners. So, happy to watch my team have at least one bright spark in there.
Yep.
In the midfield, so the issue I've mentioned, which I mentioned on the main podcast, was Sam Doherty. So, he's going to get DPP. He's going to get defensive status as far as we know if he plays. As I said, Carlton fans coming for his head. Don't want him in the squad. Don't know what the coaching staff's thinking, if they're going to mix that up. Tries his guts out, but he is a potential trade option for me as well.
Yep.
If I wanted to go down to 3 trades, if I want to maybe get a little bit frisky with a Lachie Whitfield, get him out of the team with that 1 week extra and have some extra scoring on field, keep the rank rise going. It all depends on, again, how Whitfield finishes the end of the year. In the midfield, I'd say the weak spot there, I mean, one of Rao, Caldwell or Chera, having all 3 of those guys, they're all risky propositions. They're all ceiling or basement types. So probably either going to get a 60 or a 120 from these guys.
So that one more week though, Doc will have to play on your mid bench. If you choose one of them.
Yeah. So it's unfortunate. I was kind of expecting, I was like, surely one of my mids will be out for a week by the time the buys end and I could swing it. As I said as well on the main show, I thought DPPs was around earlier for some stupid reason, so I've got to wait a week. If Doc keeps playing, I'll probably just hold off and bite that bullet for a week and then swing him back. If not, I can always trade Doc, bring Bo Allen up to the midfield.
Yep.
And get some sort of coverage there as well. So that's definitely an option I'm looking into, especially with I'd have to play Bo Allen if like a Matt Carroll's not named, which is not going to happen. So I'm probably going to trade this week if I'm being honest.
Yep. Otherwise, I'll definitely be top of the pod.
Yep. Up forward, pretty happy. I've got 2 rookies that seem to have solid job security. Archer May I've already jumped on, so didn't need to spend a trade there. I've got Liddy in the midfield as well, and obviously McCarthy. TDK, another one that I'm not super happy now that I've got back on him. I loved him last year, but it's been a rough ride since jumping back on. So that's the squad though, fans. Pretty happy with how it's ended up. Very happy I've got Luke Jackson in the mix. Love seeing him in my forward line. Would love him to be solo rucking to get monster scores, but that's
Darcy's pretty good.
Probably not going to happen for a while now, but still think he's a solid. Obviously scored 116 with the dual ruck set up there. Pretty confident with that. And for my captain, vice captain setup, I think I'm actually looking possibly at a Jordan Dawson against Melbourne. If one of my other, he might be my captain to bring me home. But probably a Bont against North. Can't go past that either.
Pretty good team. Pretty good.
Thanks, mate.
Just a bit rough around the edges.
5 trades though. Still got some room to manoeuvre.
As you mentioned, Tom McCarthy, a lot of super coaches out there playing him at D6. Given what we've seen at the moment, don't be put off by having that price tag on your final team. It's all about what he's putting out at the moment, scoring like a premium.
Yep. Let us know in the comments what you think we should both be doing with our squads. Obviously, Fance, you can't really do much with that with the 2 trades, but
you wouldn't want to do much more with that.
With old Dossie with the 2 trades. Let me know if you have any thoughts.
Let us know if your team's better as well, how many trades you've got left, and you're looking a lot better than we are.
Yep. A little bit of extra at the end of the YouTube there. Subscribe to Cope Sports.
Yep. If you like it, we'll do it again next week.
Yep. See you then.